there was something inside me knew there was something terrible. And since I was forbidden to speak, to occupy time and space, I had to wait until I began to integrate. I was 63 years old. I had to begin to draw. And you know what they did? When I was ready, on my 60th birthday, they fired me. And they thought I was gonna, they knew so little about me. They didn't know why I was there. I was there to become a human being, shitted on every day, and I had to show up to be shitted on. They did me a favor. Now I had the time to do work 24/7, and they never worked again since '87. The leisure to spend hours examining the dream, going over things I didn't understand, and trying. I didn't have any, all I could do was write a little poetry, but I was writing only out of anger, not of true creation. Now I write out of imagination. I write out of the words, and the greatest gift was the hardwiring of grammar. I had no idea if I was first person, second person, third person. I didn't know who I was, that I was a first person. I knew that I had to tell my story. There was something happening that I could not account for. Finally, in '93, I discovered I just became two-dimensional. I did 4,000 drawings because I was only allowed to impregnate the blank space with a pencil or something. But things were beginning to happen. And finally, after I met Jessie and fell in love with her, she was a great muse for me in a very subjective way, not romantic. The minute I stopped romanticizing her, then real things began to happen. I had to use different materials. She said, you should paint. I thought it was impossible. I began, and I couldn't believe I was reproducing something real as it was being photographed in slow motion, equivalent to my, I didn't even know how to apply oil to an 8.5 little canvas. So I began to want to become a normal individual who had done immense things and I didn't understand why or wherefore. I only had questions. So everything is in the painting, including my identity. Am I a man? Am I a female? Am I a hermaphrodite? I painted everything. In the dream, I had no arms and no hands. I had a dark black t-shirt. And I had, regular pants. What was missing? I had no arms and no hands. But my aunt, even though she was 24, she allowed herself to tell me she had no arms and no hands either. We couldn't talk to each other. But what we could do in order to touch, and this is the first authentic touch of a dream I used to eventually touch a grown woman who had real breasts and a real vagina. The only way we could touch was to bounce our bodies against each other. Since we couldn't touch, this was my first attempt to try to touch a woman without having arms and hands. That was the beginning of myself becoming a real man. When I told her my rage is not my rage because someone was jealous of me or betrayed me, true, that my rage is the injustice as I became sane, that this world was worse than the worst dreams I had about myself. I wasn't the only one who's destroyed. I find millions and millions of children being destroyed right in front of my eyes as I walk through the streets of this city. I see it and I can do nothing about it. So that motivates me to do the best I can do in my painting, the best I can do in my poems, and the best I can do when I'm talking to you. That is what I'm trying to do. God help me if it's an ego thing. That's all I'm afraid of.